I'm Ariana. Nice to meet you.
How you doing on Big Tank?
Nice to meet you. So you're the music supervisor for the Power Universe. Do you try to connect the shows together sonically?
No, 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 no. Every show is very different, you know. Of course, you know, with Ghost is New York, street grimy, you know, on Force, we're trying to really bring home it's in Chicago, so we want to use a lot of authentic Chicago music, house music, two-step music, the Dirks and Gierbos and whatnot. Like we're trying to, you know, Vic Mensa's, we're really trying to, you know, bring home the Chicago sound. Kanan is New York, but 1992, 1991. So we're giving it a different flair. And then, you know, BMF went from 88, 89 to all the way up to 92 as well. So, but those two shows don't even sound alike. Like, you know, drug dealer music in Detroit and drug dealer music in New York different. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I'm actually from Detroit, so it's funny you say that. I'm like being born when BMF has come the time era, so like I'm not as familiar, obviously.
familiar with Jit music?
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so that was just Detroit.
Yes. So musically, how would you say Force is different from the other shows, and how do you go about it? You mentioned a bit about making sure it has the Chicago influences, but each show also kind of has their own vibe and their own journey. So how do you go about selecting music for Force?
You know, like Forces out of all the shows, it's like there's so much family. You know, we've got, you know, the two brothers, Jannard and Diamond, and we have, you know, Tommy and his brother, and we also have Tommy and his mom, you know, and then we have on the other side, Gloria, her dad, her brother, you know, so there's so many relationships that we are trying to speak to on the music end, and there's inner fights and there's fighting against that family and that family, but there's also so many inner fights and inner struggles and dynamics that we're also trying to touch, you know. So I'm looking for songs about conflict, songs about resolution, you know, people feeling bad and people feeling good, and you know, just different things. So uh, you know, I'm trying to tell a little bit different story in Force than I am on the other shows.
Yes. How did you get into music supervision? Because obviously you've been a producer and you've been a music supervisor for a while. It was funny when I was preparing for this interview, I had Spotify on and it was just on shuffle. And every time I listen to Tim's Free Mind now, because of the work he done on Swagger, it's a completely different song to me. So how
Oh
did you
man.
even get into kind of creating these sonic universes through this medium?
You know, I just really believe like right song, right scene, it gives you just a different energy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was watching Spike Lee, and I didn't think about this at the time, right? When I'm watching Malcolm, and he did A Change Is Gonna Come, and the way he shot it and everything. For whatever reason, that song just hit me so different. So I just love that song in that scene, and I love that song anyway. But that song in that scene just feels different. The same thing with, you know, when it comes to Lamar killing people on BMF over You Can't Stop the Rain. So, you know, are hiding in the bushes on Power, on Ghost, where, you know, they're hiding in the bushes and whispering, you know, trying to, as Monet and Diana are looking for, you know, looking through each other's rooms. So, really just trying to put the right song in the right scene and make that make sense and make people connect to it. And that's really what I'm trying to do all the time.
Yes. When does your process kind of start? Because you mentioned Lamar in Can't Stop the Rain, and the actual character is saying that. Are you a part of that concept, or do they have an idea for that, and then that's when you enter in, or is it different each episode?
It's always different. You know, sometimes I'll go, you know, me and the creators will talk. You know, I've been very, very, very fortunate to work with like Courtney and 50, of course, but also the showrunners have been, you know, amazing to work with. So Randy on BMF, or, you know, Gary on Gary Does Force, and Sasha on Kanan, and now Brett on Ghost. You know, they've been very, very, very good about, you know, like keeping me and working with me directly. Me and Lena Waithe on The Shy work hand in hand so much. So, and Reggie Blythewood on Swagger. Like we go back and forth with records constantly. So when they're pitching ideas to me, I'm telling them what I think, what I feel, and we're just going back and forth the whole time. It just really it's a, it's a symbiotic relationship, and I've been loving, having those guys that I can bounce ideas off of, and they give me the freedom to try different things. So I've been fortunate.
Yeah. So when you listen to music now, do you kind of always kind of have like that mental folder of, oh, this could work for this, or I would love if eventually something could work for this? Like
100%.
how do you kind of consume music in this type of position?
I mean, I've been a DJ since I was like 12, right? So,
Mhm.
and then I've been a producer, and as a producer, always sampling records and listening to records and listening for break beats or listening for nice little parts that nobody else is using. So I'm always listening to music and lyric. You know what I mean? Like if I was sampling a hook, I want to know that the rapper's talking about this when I'm doing the beat. So, I've done that for so long. So now I'm just, taking it to the next level. I could be out at Target, or out at dinner or in a club or wherever, and I hear a song, and it could be the key of the song, it could be the words or the pain that the person's singing with. And if I don't know it, I'll Shazam it and then text it to myself, and I'll put it in a folder, and I've done that many times before, so it's just it's a continuous growth on what I'm doing.
Do you think there's ever a point where a song can get too popular or too big that it might not fit because it might date the show, or no?
Um, I don't know if it'll get too big. I think that the thing that makes you dope as a music supervisor is to be able to find records that nobody has heard before and make people go crazy over those.
Hmm.
If you give me $1 million budget and I spend every dollar on, you know, this is a Michael Jackson record, this was a
Hmm.
Tears for Fears song, and this is you really ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't take a lot of talent. Just, picking big records, so you should have big records in every episode. Don't get me wrong. But I think the beauty of it is to find those gems that people have never heard and hear it on TV for the first time, and they go to Shazam it and can't find it. And then Shazam's emailing me like they do every week, going, "What's this song? Everybody's looking for it." That makes me know, like, okay, people are loving, these records. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I don't know if a record could be too big, but I just feel like it could be a little bit corny to keep using like great big records all over the place.
Well, that's what I really like with how I guess I would say your restraint is with how you use music on the show. It's not like this constant needle drop, or it turns into, oh, this is like an extended music video that takes kind of away from the show, which is what people are watching. It's definitely experience that weaved in together. How do you decide between whether it'll be an instrumental or a song with lyrics for each scene?
Dialogue, you know what I mean? Like if it's an important dialogue scene, I might start it with lyric and then I'll cut around it and bring an instrumental in, and let them. So if I'm trying to land an emotion, or I want to make sure the music doesn't get in the way of the dialogue, because the show's the show first, music is second. I just want it to be important in a character, but I'll use the instrumental, cut around the dialogue, and then bring the hook back in, or bring the lyric back in when it breathes a little bit and allows me to. So that's basically my philosophy on that.
Yeah. With Power and a lot of the other shows and movies you've done, a lot of times actors are also musicians. That's another thing that they do. Do any of their music or their creations have that ever influenced you before?
So the first time I used uh I've used actors on The Shy before, you know. I've used actors. This is the first season. Michael Rainey Jr. got a song on Ghost,
Mm.
and it's a banger, you know. So I'm open to hearing everything that everybody does, of course, and using it. I don't know if I would ever use like a Mary J. Blige song on Ghost, because I feel like that's a little bit corny. But of course, I've used Mary J. Blige records before.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know what I mean? So
So I see that you often interact with fans online via Twitter a lot. And kind of, do you ever use their feedback, or do you kind of use that as a parameter? Like, what does the social media affect or not affect your process?
so I'm really just starting to use Twitter. I use Instagram probably the most,
Mhm.
because they're in my DMs a lot. Um, I definitely listen to what the fans say, because they are who I'm doing it for, outside of, of course, my job in the show. I want the fans to go nuts. You know what I mean? I need them to be like, what the hell is that? Who is this? I gotta find this.
Mhm.
And that lets me know. That's my barometer. You know, if the fans don't love it, what are we doing this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was your favorite musical moment from season 1 of Force?
Oh man, favorite. I mean, man, the way the show starts is dope. I mean, we put some great end credits in the first season as well. Ah, I don't know if I could pick one.
Just name one.
Man, every time Tommy's in his car, I love what he's listening to. You know what I mean? Every time Tommy's riding out, I love him. You know, but Tommy's a Motown guy.
Mhm.
So, you know what I mean? Tommy's listening to oldies. Tommy's listening to some soul music. So, you know, 9 times out of 10, every time he's in the car, I'm bobbing with Tommy. You know what I'm saying?
So you and Tommy probably out of all the characters probably have like the most similar music taste.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say that. I would say probably me and Diamond.
Ah, I could see this. I could see that.
I can say because I feel like Diamond's closer to me. You know, same age and you know from you know a lot of the same, just a lot of similarities in how we probably grew up. You know what I mean? So Jannard's probably listening to more of the music of today. You know,
Mhm.
a little bit, you know, little brother, a little younger. You know, so he's listening to G Herbo and Dirk and those guys. I got Diamond listening, you know, to more hip hop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but then you know, I would say Diamond, all of them, because I do like. It's not like I don't like Lil Durk. I love Lil Durk. So you know what I mean. So I listen to everything, but I would say Diamond's probably the easiest for me.
Yes. You mentioned this as well, and I feel like it's very much a trademark for you in a sense that the song that comes in right before the end credits and plays during the end credits really is like the summary of what just happened and then what's next to come. It very much like kind of shocks you as in like, oh, this person's dead. Oh, they're making this move. How do you go about selecting that last song?
Man, a lot of those are the hardest ones. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to encompass the whole episode at the end, you know? So if I'm just playing to the last emotion, like if something great, dramatic happens at the end, sometimes I'll mainly play towards that, but I'm always trying to find something that encompasses that whole feeling of that whole episode at the end. You know what I'm saying? So those are tough. End credits are hard, man.
Yes, because it's just there. And because it definitely like it's kind of your job to get people excited for the next episode. And if it's not great, like it's kind of on you. Like no one's gonna think that, but you know.
No, I think that too. What are you talking about? I definitely think that.
Yes, but what would you say is I know this is like picking a favorite child, but people have favorite children. What is your favorite Power theme song?
Like,
Of today, of just this moment.
man.
I'll go first if it makes it more even.
Jeez.
I would say Raising Canaan. Power is the classic one, but Raising Canaan, I was just like, it's a way to do 90s that wasn't cheesy.
Man, I'm a hustler, baby. That, oh man, make money, money. That's a tough one. Ah man, Force is so dope. It just crawls in, but
Mhm.
BMF, I
It's
can't.
very tongue in cheek, which I like. And
I
I
like
feel
them
like it
all.
very much is like very big meat.
I like them all, man. It's hard. I can't. I can't. I like them all.
Uh,
And then of
well,
course the OG is the OG.
yes, yes, yes.
You know, so
You don't have to tell us the scene because that obviously would be a spoiler. What song are you most excited for people to hear in season 2 of Force?
hmm, hmm. That's a little Dirk record in there. That's crazy.
Oh,
And it goes off. It goes hard. Where it goes, what's happening. Yeah.
awesome. Well, that's excellent to know. I can't wait to watch more of the season. It was awesome to talk to you. I can't wait to talk to you about future projects because you're always booked and busy.
I try to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you,
You have
Ariana.
good